After 3 months of marriage with Dylan Blackwell, his childhood friend Chloe Reed suddenly committed suicide. Dylan went crazy, held her body tightly, and angrily asked me why I wasn't the one who died. I quietly endured his rage and stayed by his side. He mocked me, insulted me, and laughed at me for having no self-respect. Everything stayed the same until the day he found a room full of paintings in the basement, paintings that were not about him. His eyes turned wild as he forced me to explain. I gently wiped the tears at the corner of his eyes and whispered, "Don't cry. When you cry, you don't look like him anymore." When Dylan rushed to the scene, Chloe had just jumped from an abandoned building. Her body was quickly covered with a white sheet. Blood kept flowing, but Dylan didn't care. He knelt on the ground, stopped everyone from approaching, and held her cold body tightly. 6 hours earlier, Chloe and I had been kidnapped by one of Dylan's old business rivals who wanted revenge. The kidnapper called Dylan and told him to choose one of us. I was his wife of 3 months, while Chloe was his childhood sweetheart. The kidnapper laughed loudly and pushed him to choose fast, or both of us would die. Dylan hesitated for a few seconds. He was about to say Chloe's name, but then he seemed to realize something and forced himself to say mine. "Let Stella go." The call was on speaker, so both Chloe and I heard his decision clearly. Chloe's face turned pale, tears fell fast, and she began shaking before suddenly laughing like she had lost her mind. She looked at me with hatred and said, "You won't win." The truth was that the kidnapping was not an accident. There was more than one kidnapper, and I was the only real hostage. Ever since I married Dylan, Chloe had become more and more unstable. She worked with the kidnappers and used herself as bait just to prove she meant more to Dylan than I did. But things did not go her way. The police came quickly and arrested the kidnappers. I thought everything would end there, but Chloe suddenly jumped without hesitation. Only then did I truly understand her earlier words. She died on the spot, right in front of Dylan. She used her death to make sure he would remember her forever. Cold rain fell on my face as I stood still. The scene was chaotic and no one dared to move closer. After calming down, I walked toward Dylan, touched his shoulder, and whispered, "Dylan." He suddenly pushed my hand away so hard that I fell to the ground. His red eyes looked at me with pain and madness as he asked, word by word, "Why wasn't it you?" His voice was cold and cruel. My arm hurt, and tears rose out of instinct. When he saw my red eyes, he froze for a moment but quickly looked away with clear disgust. "Don't pretend. The one I wanted to save was never you. People only choose you because you're the female lead." I couldn't say anything, because maybe his choice really didn't come from his heart. The truth was that I didn't belong in this world. By accident, I had entered a completed sweet romance novel. I became Stella Collins, the female lead of the novel, and the male lead was Dylan Blackwell. In the original story, Dylan fell in love with Stella at first sight. Their feelings grew through gentle daily moments, and after 3 sweet years of dating, they got married. When I entered this world, it was right when they met for the first time. The Dylan in the story was warm, funny, and caring. With a face like his, it was impossible not to fall for him. I simply followed the plot, and the story ended with our wedding. That was supposed to be the end of the novel. As for Chloe Reed in the 300,000-word novel, she was mentioned only a few times. But after the original story ended, she started acting strangely, and Dylan's attitude toward me changed completely. Not long ago, he still held me in his arms while we talked about our honeymoon. His kiss was gentle but domineering as he whispered, "Baby, where do you want to go?" He had worked nonstop for 2 months to plan the trip. Tickets, hotels, everything was ready. But 2 days before we were supposed to leave, he suddenly canceled the honeymoon without giving any explanation. I didn't know if it was because he had broken free from the story's control, but one day he simply woke up with full awareness of the truth. After that, he began avoiding me, refusing my touch, and looking at me with confusion and conflict. He understood that our world was just a novel, that he and I were the pre-written male and female leads, and that I was someone who had entered this book. He believed the person he really loved should be Chloe, his childhood sweetheart, not me. He thought the story had forced him to love me and changed his true will. But because this was a novel, the world still revolved around the original plot. The male lead would always choose the female lead, even outside the storyline. As long as my life was in danger, Dylan was forced to save me, even if it wasn't what he wanted. If I died, this world would collapse. That was what he hated the most about me. Dylan hated being controlled, so he blamed me for Chloe's death. If he had been able to choose Chloe, she wouldn't have jumped. Rain kept falling, and the cold of late autumn made me shiver. A kind police officer held an umbrella over me. Dylan was still kneeling on the ground without moving. I walked closer and tilted the umbrella toward him. Half my shoulder was soaked, but I said softly, "She's gone." My words felt like a knife to him. He shouted, "Get out! Don't dirty Chloe's eyes." I held the umbrella tightly and didn't move. Rain blurred my vision and softened the sharp lines of Dylan's face. Suddenly, he stood up and slapped the umbrella away, shouting in anger. Chloe's funeral was held 3 days later. Dylan stayed by her coffin the entire time. After that, he didn't come home for a long time. He even forgot the weekly dinner at the old Blackwell house. As usual, I brought homemade snacks for his family, but this time I wasn't allowed inside. Their attitude toward me had changed completely. The maid raised her chin and said coldly, "The masters are not home. You can't come in." But 15 minutes earlier, Dylan's mother had posted a photo of a big family dinner online, with Chloe's parents sitting beside them. I smiled politely and didn't expose their lie. Without Dylan's love, they didn't even bother pretending anymore. Compared to me, a girl with an ordinary background, they preferred Chloe, who had grown up with Dylan. No one understood why Dylan insisted on marrying me back then, but they accepted it. Now, everyone thought Chloe's death had something to do with me. I handed the snacks to the maid and said, "I came at the wrong time. Please pass these on." She accepted them with clear disgust. When I drove away, I saw them throw my food straight into the trash as if it were something filthy. The next day, I went to work, only to learn that the project my team and I had worked on for a year had been given to someone else. It felt like all my hard work had been handed away. Dylan's secretary politely said, "This is the CEO's order." I was upset, not because of ambition, but because the project belonged to my team. I asked to meet Dylan. The secretary hesitated and said, "You know he doesn't want to see you right now." I pushed past him and entered Dylan's office area. The HR director was coming out. He glanced at me through the half-open door with a cold expression. The HR director stopped me. "Miss Collins, let's talk in the office," he said with a mocking tone. I smiled lightly. "We can talk here." He took out a termination letter. "Sign it. You will receive proper compensation for your contributions." I looked at Dylan's closed office door. "This is also his decision, isn't it?" The HR director said nothing. I stood quietly, then signed my name. I wasn't sad about losing the job. I was only sad that I would see Dylan's face even less. 4 months passed after Chloe's death before I saw Dylan again. He brought home a dog, Chloe's teddy dog. When it saw me, it barked fiercely. I stepped back in fear. Dylan sneered, "Why are you scared? Can a dog kill you?" I looked up at him. "You know I'm afraid of dogs." When I was a child, I had been chased and bitten by a neighbor's dog. The scar no longer existed on this new body, but the fear remained. Dylan knew this. That was why he did it. I bit my lip and lowered my head. His grandfather used to raise 2 German shepherds. The first time I visited the old Blackwell house, I was so scared I didn't dare enter. Later, the dogs disappeared. The driver told me Dylan had moved them away. He even argued with his grandfather because of me. Back then, I thought he truly loved me. But that was only the Dylan inside the story. The Dylan outside the story never cared. Seeing me silent, Dylan shoved the dog into my arms. My face turned pale and I dropped it out of reflex. Dylan laughed coldly. "Go on, try dropping it again. If you do, don't come back to this house." I froze. Ever since he gained awareness of the truth, he often used this to threaten me. He knew I couldn't leave him. Everything Stella Collins had belonged to Dylan Blackwell. My hands tightened around the dog. It struggled and bit my wrist hard. I threw it away and blood began to pour from the wound. Dylan stared at my bleeding wrist and froze. When I started breathing heavily, he rushed over, grabbed a first aid kit and wrapped my wound. Blood stained my white dress. "Why are you so stupid?" he muttered. "Even a dog can hurt you. Where's your female lead halo?" I smiled faintly. "Dylan, this is outside the plot." His grip on my hand tightened. "Even now, you still talk like that." The bleeding stopped and he pulled me up, planning to take me to the hospital. But as soon as I stood, my vision went dark. My body collapsed. "Stella, Stella," Dylan's voice trembled. "Stop pretending, wake up." I couldn't reply. Before losing consciousness, I heard him whisper softly, "Hui." It had been so long since anyone called me that. His voice mixed with an old memory. Someone from my past had called me that too. smell of disinfectant filled my nose. I gagged. I hated hospitals, and the familiar, disgusting smell brought back memories. I had once spent nearly a year in a hospital after an accident. When Dylan opened the door and walked in, I was staring blankly out the window. He sat beside my bed. His usually neat hair now fell over his forehead, covering the scar on his brow. "Why did you change your hairstyle?" I asked. "The old one looked better." Dylan frowned. "What does it matter to you?" But he still pushed his hair back unconsciously. I smiled. His hand stopped midair and his expression hardened. He shouted angrily, "Stella Collins, I'm not the Dylan from the novel. Stop trying to change my choices." Then he slammed the door and left. My wound throbbed. After the original story ended, Dylan often lost his temper at me. I had gotten used to it. As long as I could still see his face, I didn't mind. I was discharged soon after. The bite was deep but not dangerous. I would need regular bandage changes. Dylan never visited again, and he didn't pick me up from the hospital. When I returned home, I found that in just 2 days, the whole mansion had changed. The pink roses I had grown were gone. All the furniture I had chosen was replaced. Everything was now blue, Chloe Reed's favorite color. The handmade items I had carefully made were thrown outside, covered in mud, like garbage. Even the wedding photo of Dylan Blackwell and me had been replaced with a picture of him and Chloe Reed in their graduation gowns. That innocent smile belonged to Dylan before he met me. I knew he was trying to hurt me on purpose, but I let him because I still needed to see that face. I stood at the bedroom door, which was locked from inside. I knocked, but no one responded. After an hour, Dylan slowly opened the door and threw me a pillow and a thin blanket. "From today, you sleep in the living room," he said. It was late autumn. I was very sensitive to the cold, and the thin blanket was not enough. There were no extra sheets in the living room. I hugged the pillow and blanket, saying, "It's only 10 degrees tonight." Dylan raised an eyebrow, his voice icy. "A little cold won't kill you. There's no air conditioner, but you'll survive." I didn't look at him and tried to step past. He put a long leg across the doorway, annoyed. "What are you planning to do? I don't care about you anymore. Stop thinking too much. I just want my pajamas." His face darkened, and I didn't know what he was angry about. I went along with him, but he still seemed unhappy. After a while, he gritted his teeth. "Your things are unlucky. I threw them in the storage room. Figure it out yourself." Then he slammed the door, full of anger. That night, I couldn't sleep well. It drizzled outside, very cold, and the living room air conditioner wires had been cut. Dylan's childish trick kept me coughing all night. The next morning, as he left for work, Dylan deliberately told me, "There's a party tonight. I want you to come." I was stunned. Since the novel's plot ended, he had never taken me to any public parties or acknowledged our relationship. It was as if our 3-year marriage had never existed. I still went, though. When I arrived, it was a pool party. Loud music, men and women in revealing clothes danced and kissed passionately. I covered my ears and frowned. It was overwhelming. From afar, I saw Dylan leaning by the pool, casually holding 2 bikini-clad women, one offering fruit, the other feeding him drinks. He signaled me with a subtle wave, eyes full of provocation. Previously, he never attended such parties. People joked that Dylan was very disciplined and often said he didn't like such things. But since escaping the plot, he seemed different. Or perhaps this was his true self, free from any roles or rules. I approached, annoyed. "Why are you dressed like that? Don't you know what this event is? You ruin the mood." I looked down at my outfit, a high-end, elegant evening dress, hair and makeup done carefully. I had thought the party would be formal. Previously, he only took me to polite gatherings. I had misjudged. Our relationship was no longer the same. He had deliberately made it difficult for me, giving no information beforehand. I stayed silent. A woman on Dylan's left glanced at me with a smirk. "I have an extra swimsuit. You can borrow it if you want." Then she added mockingly, "Though the size might not fit well," casting a meaningful look at Dylan. She leaned close to him, but Dylan didn't move, only smiled lightly. A man across from me stared from head to toe and spoke crude words, teasing me. "No need to change. Your dress shows off your figure nicely. Here and there, it stretches just right." Dylan's eyes became icy for a moment, but he quickly returned to a neutral expression. I realized he was letting people around humiliate me. I turned to glare at the man. The man's wife, Camilla Hayes, was one of the few people who didn't avoid me. She had invited me shopping a few days ago, wanting to hear some interesting stories. She was strong, with a powerful family, unlike her husband, who overreached socially. I understood now that my background and abilities were my strongest support. The man became flustered, quickly putting down his drink. I was just joking, Mrs. Blackwell. Don't take it seriously. Let's enjoy the party and don't tell my wife. I didn't reply. I grabbed a bottle of wine and jokingly punished myself. I smiled faintly. Hesitating for a few seconds, he drank the rest of his bottle, then ran to vomit. Dylan snorted coldly. You talk too fast. Drinking a lot tonight, huh? His face flushed. His health wasn't good. I stepped forward to take the glass from him. Suddenly, my ankle caught something. I stumbled and spilled wine over my dress. The woman who offered the swimsuit laughed maliciously, looking pleased. Dylan sneered, "What's this, trying to throw yourself at me?" He stood up to keep his distance. The woman suddenly kissed him boldly. Dylan paused briefly but did not refuse. I grabbed her and slapped her face hard. Dylan was stunned, watching me. He had never seen me act this way. She tried to retaliate, but I held her wrist, ignoring the surrounding eyes, and wiped her lipstick off Dylan's face. Then I coldly looked at the aggressive woman. She avoided my gaze, ashamed. I pulled Dylan home. He pushed my hand away. Who do you think you are? If you want me to come home with you, fine. He pointed to the pool. Go swim a few laps, then I'll go with you. I didn't know how to swim. Dylan knew this. I smiled and jumped into the pool immediately, moving fast enough that he couldn't stop me. The water reached only chest height. 10 minutes later, I climbed out. My thin gown became see-through when wet. I shivered and asked if he was satisfied. He didn't answer but grabbed my wrist angrily. Stella Collins, with so many people here, aren't you ashamed? Don't you have any self-respect? I felt exhausted. Isn't this what you wanted? My words angered him. He shouted at everyone nearby, turning them away. His face darkened. He drove me home. That night, I developed a high fever. The cold from yesterday, combined with my wrist wound, caused an infection. I drifted into a feverish sleep. My dream, someone gently placed a cold hand on my forehead, wiping my face with a warm cloth. The gesture was careful, as if lifting a precious object. In my mind, I saw someone both like and unlike Dylan. Don't leave me alone, I cried. Tears streamed down my face. Someone wiped them away and comforted me. It's okay, I'm not leaving, I'll stay with you. Why does your scent smell different? I whispered. Before, he smelled like bluebells, early summer. He didn't answer. I grabbed his sleeve. Don't go, I sobbed. Nathan, don't leave me alone. The world seemed to freeze. He shook me gently. Who are you calling? I couldn't control myself, shouting, Nathan, don't go. His hand slipped from mine, and I sank deeper into sleep. When I opened my eyes again, my whole body ached from lying too long. My lips were dry and chapped. I went downstairs for water, stepping carefully among scattered cigarette butts and bottles. Dylan Blackwell sat exhausted on the edge of the sofa. Hundreds of paintings were scattered at his feet. Ignoring the pain in my body, I knelt down to carefully gather each painting. Suddenly, Dylan pulled me up. You care so much about these torn paintings. You're good using me as a substitute, he said. The figures in the paintings looked exactly like him, but they were. He knew that each painting had the initials of Nathan Blackwell in the corner. If it weren't for this incident, I might never have discovered what he had hidden in the basement. I felt foolish, trapped not only in this ridiculous story, but also in his games. Dylan choked up. You have nothing to explain. His eyes were red with blame. You know, he continued, when you were sick in bed, I took care of you. When you were weak, I hurt seeing you lie there. I kept asking myself, are my feelings for you real or just the plot's influence? I hated you, avoided you because my life was fake, my love was fake. Everything I thought I had was just a story. But now I see you're innocent. I only hurt myself before. But now, Stella, do you want me to hate you? He reached up, brushing the tears from my eyes. Seeing him cry made my heart ache. I calmed him, telling him not to cry. His face went pale. I looked at him steadily. You should hate me, I said. By the way, I'm the author of this novel. Dylan faltered, as if realizing something. His voice trembled. So, Nathan Blackwell and I, what is our connection? I told him. It had been a long time since anyone mentioned Nathan's name. Before I entered this story, I had been sitting by the sea, ready to end my life. The world was too dark. I couldn't see light anymore. A car accident blinded me. Glass shards cut my eyes. I spent nearly a year in the hospital with few friends and a strained relationship with my parents. My only companions were boredom, loneliness, and endless darkness. Every day, I longed to see light again, but 2 years passed with no change. I couldn't hold a paintbrush I once loved. My mother insisted I should marry someone from a good family so I would be cared for, but I refused. For me, marriage was not mandatory. My parents grew impatient and I hung up. To them, I was a burden. After being discharged, I spent countless days hearing them argue and blame each other. They wanted a perfect daughter, but I felt useless, unable to take care of myself. I secretly arranged to live on a small island, walking its paths daily. After 2 years of darkness, I was used to not seeing anything. If I died, I wanted it to be peaceful. One day, while standing in shallow water, I heard a clear male voice. Surprised, I realized someone else was there. My feet moved instinctively toward him. "You can't go that way either," he said lazily, yet strangely soothing. I tried to find my direction, irritated. "Which way is forward?" I asked, miffed. He calmly replied, "Follow me." When my foot finally touched soft sand, I realized he had tricked me again. Since I was blind, my hearing was sharper, and I knew he was standing right in front of me. Angry, I kicked him. He yelled in pain. I spun and continued into the sea. When the water reached my waist, a hand pulled me back. I struggled, swallowed seawater, and coughed. "Don't interfere," I shouted. "First, don't die," he said hoarsely, holding me tightly and dragging me to shore. He wrapped a warm jacket around me and carried me to the island hospital. He forced me to stay for 2 days, during which I learned his name, Dylan Blackwell. The darkness, unfamiliar environment, and constant noise made me anxious. Nathan didn't mind my coldness and spoke to me consistently. He never pried about my past or my eyes. Only after I told my full story did he softly whisper, "Life isn't so bad, is it?" I hid under a blanket, still unaccustomed to his closeness. Within 48 hours, Nathan became unexpectedly familiar and caring. He even offered me a slice of apple. "We've passed the same places every day," he said, smiling. I was stunned. He referred to the spot where I had almost ended my life, a quiet place I liked for feeling the sun and the sea breeze. He whispered, "Stella, we've watched 63 sunsets together." Slowly, I let go of the blanket and bit into the apple. Though I had decided to give up everything, someone had appeared to keep me alive. When I was discharged, Nathan walked me home. "Conveniently on the way," he said, grinning. 30 minutes later, I realized the house I rented was right next to his. All this time, we had been neighbors. Nathan was strange. He often made noise around jars, which I couldn't resist asking about. "They're all candy," he said when I teased him. I turned away, disliking sweets. Sometimes he disappeared for days, never explaining why. Once he gave me a wooden cat as a gift. Feeling it, I recognized Nathan's pride and joy. He whispered, "It's your zodiac." I smiled, appreciating it. After dinner, he hurried me outside. "Remember, you promised to watch the meteor shower with me." I had forgotten. He drove me to the south tip of the island, the best spot for watching meteors. "It's a secret place," he said mysteriously. He set up a tent, guiding me to sit. The meteor shower wouldn't appear until 4 or 5 a.m. I looked up at the dark sky, waiting. I had never watched the stars with Dylan Blackwell before. His breathing was gentle, calm. Perhaps I would never have the chance to see the stars again. I smiled and turned to him. "It's okay, you can watch for me." He held my wrist tightly. His voice choked, but after a while he replied, "I can do it." I couldn't see the shooting stars, and I couldn't see the pained expression on Nathan's face, which made me want to cry. In a drowsy haze, I drifted off to sleep. Soon, Nathan woke me up. "The shooting stars are here. Wake up and make a wish." I couldn't tell directions in the dark, so he took my hands from behind and placed them together. I didn't know what to wish for, only feeling his warm breath behind me. "Done?" he asked. "I tricked you," I said. He smiled. I asked, "What do the stars look like?" He leaned close and whispered, "Like stars falling from the sky." My heartbeat suddenly sounded louder than ever. Nathan seemed less annoying than before. Life on the island was peaceful. 4 months passed, and finally my parents discovered I wasn't at home. They started calling constantly, pushing me to marry. It was ironic. These last few days' calls were more than all the calls in the past 24 years. Somehow they had found out where I lived. They sent a man from the Chen family to force me home. I swung my white cane at him. He grabbed me, angrily and roughly. "Don't be ungrateful. Your parents wouldn't mind that you're blind. If your face was decent, maybe you could marry me. Now come back and give the Chen family a grandson," he demanded, touching me inappropriately. Memories of high school flashed. I loved painting, and my parents supported it, even paying for the best studio. But the oldest teacher, over 50, would often keep me alone and accidentally touch me. I began to hate any close contact. Once he cornered me in the bathroom after drinking. If the cleaning lady hadn't walked by, I might not have escaped. Reporting it to the police did nothing. My parents forced me to apologize and continue lessons with him. They argued bitterly, and finally my father said coldly, "Do as you like." I was thrown out of the studio, powerless, with no one to help. I hated them for pushing me into the abyss again. Back in the present, I bit the man's arm, but he pulled my hair and dragged me. I couldn't escape, couldn't tell direction, and Nathan hadn't been home for days. Exhausted, I heard his furious shout. A gust of wind brushed my ear as the man was knocked to the ground. Nathan's voice was cold and ruthless. "Who are you? I've never sounded like this before. I'll kill you." He punched the man repeatedly, turning curses into begging until he fell silent. Warm blood splattered my face. Terrified, I pulled Nathan back just in time. He paused, then gently wiped the blood off my face and held me tightly. His voice was hoarse, trembling. "Are you okay?" I shook my head slightly in his arms. "Sorry I'm late," he said. Tears fell freely. The commotion had drawn police and an ambulance. Nathan didn't let go, comforting me. Later, he collapsed from exhaustion and was taken to intensive care for 3 days. I worried, asking the doctor about his condition. The doctor only said I should wait until Nathan woke up. When he returned to a regular room, I asked about his injuries. Nathan hesitated, then quietly explained that he had minor long-term effects from previous surgeries, nothing serious. I felt relieved. He lifted my chin and smiled gently. "Don't be sad, Stella. Smile more, I like seeing you happy." After that, my parents and the Chen family no longer bothered me. Nathan stayed close and refused to leave. When he spoke softly about sleeping arrangements, I laughed, realizing there was an empty room with a bed. I remembered he had cleaned my house before and unlocked that room. It had always been locked since I moved in. It contained my painting supplies. I had never told Nathan I could paint. Before, I had hoped for my parents' love, birthday celebrations, or a simple trip to the park on Children's Day. But they ignored me, even scolding me for wanting attention. By 11th grade, I sat alone in the back corner of the class. My youth was gray and silent, but I found solace in painting. I poured all my emotions into my art, escaping reality. Teachers praised my talent, and I finally felt some value. After losing my sight, my easel was locked away, an unreachable dream. Nathan opened the locked door, took out my easel, and held my hand. Watching the meteor shower, I had made a wish. He reminded me of it, smiling. "Don't worry, I'll take you to see shooting stars again." I could barely keep up with his thoughts. It seemed to be daytime now, but he drove me to the same place we had watched the meteor shower before. As the sun set, I felt warmth near my hand. "Is this the shooting star?" I asked. Nathan had created a simple device that lit over 100 fireworks, looking just like a meteor from above. I teased him, "Are you taking advantage of my blindness?" He replied seriously, "It's sacred. When I was little, my sister made me make wishes on lights. She said anything could come true. Later, some did, but mostly adults just soothe children." I asked what happened next. He smiled, holding both my hands. "That day I met you, my wish came true. One day you will become a great artist." As the sun set, he whispered, "Stella, we've watched 303 sunsets together." My eyes stung. I realized I might like him. When the moon rose, Nathan placed my easel in front of me, guided me to sit, then wrapped his arm around me from behind, holding my hand. I felt a familiar brush in my fingers, the paintbrush I had longed to touch. I trembled inside, wanting to pull my hand away, but he gently held it tighter and began to paint. The brush moved down, then up on the canvas. There was the moon, stars nearby, and below, the sea sparkling with light. He smiled softly. "Just like you," he said. The sea breeze brushed my cheek. Even though summer had passed, I still felt a burning heat inside. I couldn't help but turn to look at Nathan Blackwell. Out of all the people I knew, he was the only one whose face I had never seen up close. His fingers traced from my forehead down to my chin, along my nose. His eyes were big, his eyebrows not too thick, and a small scar rested above his brow. Suddenly, I spoke. "Nathan, I think I don't just like you, I really like you." Nathan pulled me close, holding me as tightly as if he wanted to use every last bit of his strength. I had never liked anyone before, but that early summer, Nathan brought light into my life. He walked into my world, helping me through long, dark nights, becoming the only and most special person in my life. I couldn't help asking him, "Do you want that star to be truly yours forever?" He didn't answer immediately. The silence around us was so deep that I could almost hear his breath. Perhaps it was because my face had been too serious for too long, without the joy or hope he expected. Finally, Nathan answered firmly with just one word: yes. The happiest days of my life were with Nathan. Sometimes he disappeared for a few days, saying he had to visit his family. I trusted him completely, lost in unprecedented happiness. "You've been eating a lot of candy lately," I whispered. He paused, speaking softly near my ear. "It's become a habit." I sat in his lap, hugging him tightly. Lately, he seemed thinner, though his weight hadn't changed, but I began to feel uneasy. His disappearances became longer, almost half a month this time, and the roses he carefully stacked on the balcony began to wither. I only received scattered messages, and he never answered calls. I couldn't help feeling anxious, yet I still trusted him. Before he left this time, I suddenly asked, "Nathan, shall we get married?" He stayed silent for a long while, then gently kissed my head. I didn't know it would be the last time we saw each other. I couldn't wait for him to return to marry me. The next call from Nathan came a month later. His voice was weak. "Stella," he whispered. I stayed silent, feeling a premonition of disaster. "Nathan, when will you come back to marry me?" I asked. He said nothing. I only heard his breathing grow heavier. He had already bought the ring, but this time he broke his promise. I covered my ears, afraid to hear more. Finally, through the phone, he whispered, "Stella, be happy," and the line suddenly filled with the beeping of medical devices. Panic surged. I remembered the sound from my hospital visits. It was urgent. I screamed, "Nathan?" A woman's trembling voice answered. It was Nathan's sister. "He's gone," she said. I ran, ignoring everything, but it was too late. On the way to the hospital, a truck lost control, causing a chain accident. I fell into a deep coma. When I woke, I was blinded by a harsh white light. I saw a woman I didn't know sitting nearby, Nathan's sister. She silently placed 2 cold rings in my hands, the same rings Nathan had always held. My tears fell immediately. She left an album and a letter for me. The album showed Nathan's life from childhood to adulthood. The letter, I didn't have the courage to open it. I could finally see his face, happy, angry, playful, but never crying. He had always said he hated to cry. All that remained were cold images in the photos. I ran from the hospital to his grave, stroking the cold stone. "You liked seeing me smile," I whispered. I tried to smile, but finally collapsed in the rain. Years later, Dylan Blackwell laughed cruelly, his red eyes filled with mockery and hatred. He suddenly pushed me to the ground, choking me. "My existence only matters because of another man," he hissed. I barely managed to whisper. "I was never good." After Nathan died, I lived like a soulless ghost. Though my eyes had healed, I couldn't hold the brush I once loved. I began writing novels, creating fictional worlds where Nathan could still exist. In these stories, the male characters all resembled him, with his face, voice, personality, and love. Dylan Blackwell, though cruel, could never replace Nathan. Dylan imprisoned me in a basement, but I could not escape the stories. 10 days apart, doctors checked me regularly, and Nathan's sister helped secretly. I maintained my health, finally gaining Dylan's hesitant trust. One day, he removed my restraints and drove me along a coastal road. I looked at him. "Let me go." His face darkened. "Never." I rolled down the window, letting the wind blow my hair. I laughed. "Then I'll leave this world." I pushed the car. It teetered on the cliff edge. I tried to stabilize it, but Dylan fell on the other side. I grasped the ground, trying to look back. The car plunged. He reached for me, whispering with his last strength, "Even in the story or in reality, I love you." A shard of glass pierced my abdomen. I couldn't save him. My vision faded, but I smiled, finally free. I didn't die, but returned to reality. The 4 years in the novel lasted only 40 hours in the real world. I deleted all my stories. 8 years after Nathan's death, I finally opened his letter. "Stella, by the time you read this, I may have become a star. I never lied to you except 3 times. I never ate candy, there was no shooting star that night, and my illness was incurable. I was diagnosed at 16 with a rare disease, expected to live only 10 more years. I wasn't afraid, knowing I could calmly live fully. But when I met you, I realized I couldn't face death without you. I wanted to be with you as long as possible, selfishly. I prepared the ring long before you asked. I wanted to tell you the truth after my last checkup, but my condition worsened suddenly. I could only leave you with my voice for the last time. Stella, recover your eyesight and become a great artist. Look at the meteor shower I never showed you. I wept over the letter, clutching it to my chest. I promised him and myself that in the next life we would meet again. Time passed, I lived to 99. I wrote back. I had listened, eaten well, lived fully, and painted. My last painting, titled Meteor Shower, depicted the day's sunset where we had watched together. Beautiful, but not as beautiful as the moments we shared. Soon, we will meet again, and every sunset he will watch it with me. I vaguely felt that summer again. The boy who brought light into my life, banishing darkness forever.